About the Giants, they're up to a faster start. The Eagles, the Cowboys, they've kind of all been rebuilding too the last couple of years, and it seems like they're farther ahead. Why do you think the teams in the division are farther ahead at this point?
Quarterback.
Chose the quarterback here, though, so do you have any regrets about that, or how do you?
No, I got no regrets about their quarterback. I think our quarterback has done some good things. There's been a couple of games that he struggled. But you look at his numbers from yesterday, and you would say, okay, look at his numbers he's had throughout the year. There was a time he was, very solid. And then, we had the unfortunate Philadelphia game, and he struggled a little bit in the Dallas game. But the way he performed yesterday, it just shows you what he's capable of.
I hate this answer. And I'm not even a Carson Wentz fan, but real talk for 1 second here. The Washington Commanders, under Ron Rivera, who's a defensive-minded head coach, is a former defensive player, former defensive coordinator, former linebackers coach, Ron Rivera, who comes from a defensive point of view. They've given up the 3rd most passing touchdowns. They've given up the 8th most yards per attempt. They can't get off the field on 3rd down. Stop somebody. How about that? Maybe not putting Carson Wentz in this situation. By the way, Carson Wentz is one of the most under-pressured quarterbacks, and they can't block anyone and they can't stop anyone. I'm not the biggest Carson Wentz fan, but he ain't the problem. He's been fine. The interception at the end of the game against Tennessee, that was brutal, right? He had 2 bad picks against the Jags, but they won that game, right? Look at this. He's the top 5 in the NFL in passing touchdowns. You're having him throw 42 times a game. That's 3rd in the NFL. He's 6th in the NFL in passing yards per game. By the way, Carson Wentz shouldn't be 3rd in the NFL in pass attempts. That, you know what I mean? Not a recipe for success. That's not what you're getting Carson Wentz to do. And so, I'm not even a Carson Wentz fan, but that's such a. I hated that answer. I hated everything about that answer because there's so many flaws with the Commanders team, and it. Honestly, if you list every problem that the Commanders have this year, Carson Wentz is in the middle of that pack. He's not the first guy. He's not the second guy. It starts with that defense, that highly paid defense that can't stop anybody.
Yes, but from the point, Ron Rivera says quarterback and then goes on to defend why Carson Wentz has done well and hasn't been the problem. So he just he debated both sides.
It wasn't great delivery. My interpretation of it is that he's basically saying that the other teams in the division have had more time to build around their quarterbacks, whether it's Daniel Jones or Cooper Rush, who has been in the Cowboys system.
You said that.
It's still ridiculous.
Right, it's insane. And Jalen Hurts. But again, listen, the Giants were left for dead, and, Brian Daboll and his staff are brand new to New York, and they're 4-1. And they've had a lot more injuries than the Commanders have. The Commanders are 1-4, and I would not be shocked if they lose to the Bears on Thursday night. That game's in Chicago, and then they're 1-5. And I'm at this point, they have no more guaranteed money left for Carson Wentz. After this season, start Sam Howell at some point. See what you got there. See what you got in Sam Howell. You have to at some point. I hated that answer. I'm here to defend Carson Wentz.
He said he had no regrets, so that's we'll take from that.
All right, let's quickly.
Seahawks. Geno Smith, though, playing an MVP.
Hang on. Sorry. Sorry, Julie. I'll just real quickly.
I'm driving right now.
No, I know. I'm sorry. It's my bad. But I'm merely going to say no. I got a whole rant on Carson Wentz, but I just want to say he is available in 54% of the leagues. He is a top 10 fantasy quarterback. Even though some of the picks are brutal, the fact of the matter is, as you saw, they are throwing a ton. He is top 6 in the NFL in passing yards and passing attempts. You're not really scared about Chicago as well. 21 more fantasy points in 3 of the 5 games. He is a viable fantasy quarterback as long as he has the job.
Another one, and much more than viable right now, Geno Smith. He is QB 6 on the year. He's averaging almost 20 fantasy points per week. Geno is playing really well. Nothing to take away from Geno. He's running more. He's making big-time throws. They can get play action going. The most important thing for sustained success for Geno is that their defense is so bad they are actually allowing him to throw when they want to be a run-heavy team, and Geno has absolutely stepped up in every possible way and more.
So if the defense is bad, it actually helps him out a whole lot more. So, that seems to be the case going forward, especially against the Cardinals. We're going to have tight ends on Waiver Wire when we return, and Mom and Dad won't be fighting because Mom's in charge here on the show.
Wait,
it's Matthew Berry's show, but I guess, yes.
I've been doing the gritty whenever he does something because he wasn't doing so great early on, and I was telling people to
I don't believe that.
draft him.
I do not believe that at all.
When the player you told your BF to draft has another epic play, so got a gritty or Irish dance, why are my arms so long?
Here's Gesicki doing the gritty.
He's like ski jumping.
I don't care.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, Mac.
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not a gritty. All right. Oh, wow. Okay.
Three brutal
all right. gritties. I
Three brutal
deserve
gritties
that.
there, Connor.
Gritty.
That is. Zach Wilson had the best one of everybody. Sorry, guys.
It's fantastic.
It's quite difficult on the old
Great to
knees,
great.
you know?
Yeah, don't mention Zach Wilson. Julie just called herself a mom before the break.
boy.
And
Oh,
all of a
my
sudden
God,
now,
why did you say
I'm
that?
just saying, you did. Hey, real quickly, tight ends. If you need a tight end, Taysom Hill, who qualifies at tight end, he played less snaps. You're not going to get the kind of game he did, but he does have 228 rushing yards on the season, plays the Bengals. He's going to face Hayden Hurst, who, by the way, has scored now in back-to-back games, has 7 targets, 3 of 5 games. He's available in 70% of leagues. And then Hunter Henry on this revamped Patriots team is starting to get season high in target share and yards in week 5. For Connor Rogers and Julie Stewart-Binks, I'm Matthew Berry. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. We'll see you tomorrow in the happy hour. Peace out. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from RotoWorld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.